woman.
It's all in me. Anything you want done, baby.
Hey.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's nice to have you here. Welcome to 2026. Let's go. Let's go. Listen, I'm sitting here today with a leader who I think represents something we're all starving for right now. She represents what it looks like to live with integrity in a world that consistently tells you you are wrong. To lead with grace in systems that don't always make room for you. To stay open-hearted when it would be much easier to armor up. Her name is Qiana, and she has this magnetic presence, y'all. She is grounded in her clarity and her joy, and it feels, above all, earned. It feels earned, and I love that about you. And the reason why I wanted her here is because I believe, as many of you do, that the future of leadership won't be defined by titles or performance metrics alone. No, actually, it will be defined by who knows themselves well enough to lead without fear and those who don't. Now, this is personal for me because I'm half white, half Latino from Long Island, started out in tech, was an LGBTQ ally and leader for many years. And even still, I had discomfort with different members of the LGBTQ plus community, including my trans brothers and sisters. And what I recognize now, as I've gotten older, as I've progressed on the healing journey and learned to love myself more, was that a lot of my animosity and tension and fear towards them, the other, as I labeled them, was a function of my own discomfort, my own shame, the parts of me that I wasn't willing to fully love yet. And what I have now recognized that it's so much easier for us, all of us, to project our pain. We don't want to feel the pain, so we project it onto somebody else, because then it makes us feel safer and more comfortable. But truly, we're just kicking the can down the road. We're hurting somebody else and we're not doing our work. So I have really come to realize in this moment that trans people are among the most beautiful people in this world because they had the audacity to be true to themselves, to be honest, to be loving, to love all the parts of them, including the parts that are conflicted or unsure. Whereas so many of us ignore those parts. We don't even come close to those parts. And I was one of them. And so part of this for me is I want to share this story and be honest about it because I struggled with it, not because I didn't like them, but because I didn't like myself. There were parts of myself that I didn't like. And the more that you do the work on yourself, the more that you have love to give, to overflow, to help everybody else. And so I love that about my journey. I hope that you see some of yourself in that. And I hope that you enjoy what's going to come from this conversation because Qiana has so much wisdom to offer us. And it's just going to be such a lovely conversation. So Qiana, welcome. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you for having me. And hi, everyone out there as well. So I'm excited to just be here, to be in New York.
Yes. Where are you from?
I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, so I'm no stranger to the snow, but now I reside in Chicago.
Yeah. So here's where I want to begin, because we got a lot to talk about here, but here's what I want to begin. I looked at your LinkedIn and you actually have servant leadership on your profile. And to me, that's very touching and moving. So you describe yourself as a servant leader. I'm curious, when you hear that phrase, what does that mean to you? And how did that come to shape you in your life? What does servant leadership mean to you?
Yeah, so I'm just going to come right out of the gate and say that one of the leaders that really inspired me was Lisa Nichols. And she has this statement of success is on the other side of service. And so to me, I based my leadership style in service. And I feel that naturally, the more people that I serve, whether it's my clients, stakeholders, and more importantly, my team, naturally, you'll be more successful. And so I think that as a servant leader, right, I'm giving back. I'm giving unto myself. And so then that's how it kind of wraps into this authenticity conversation, right? Like growing up as a Black trans woman in Detroit, Michigan, representation wasn't there. And so for me to play full out, to be my full self, to reach to a certain level of success, I had to first unlock that within myself. I had to accept me. So I am of service even more because I'm even more of service to myself. So what I really say to everyone out there, right, that if you're navigating your own leadership journey, sure, you may have amassed a certain, level of yourself, but you're really going to unlock, your greatest potential once you really accept and unlock yourself. Yeah. So that's why I also say in business, we have a ton of KPIs or key performance indicators.
Yes,
we'll
KPIs.
Talk more about that, but I follow the key performance heart indicator. How many hearts am I able to change? And so I know we'll talk more about that.
KPHI,
honey. So,
yes, no, we'll get there. You said to me the other day, you can't be a true leader until you know who you are.
Yes. You can go around and say I'm a leader because I'm great at X, Y, and Z, right? But who is that really good for? Is that good for you? Is that good for your people? Is that good for your clients, right? So to me, I feel, like you can go study and be a great, person at your craft and what you do, right? But until you really accept who you are, right? And you start sharing that, your story matters. Before I transitioned, I saw me before anyone else saw me. And I challenge that to even my cisgender, colleagues and friends, and right. So that's just not a transgender thing. But like, do you see yourself before anyone else can? Are you just going to allow someone else to write your own history?
Can you expand on that? What does that mean to see yourself before anyone can?
Well, I had to look deep in the mirror and I said, I accept who I am and where I was born and all those things. But there's a lot more to me waiting to be unlocked. And I had to really sit with that. I had to look in the mirror at the woman in the mirror and really say, okay, this is who I've been for 22 years. But now for the rest of my life, I'm seeing a very different person. And I had to stick with that, right? If I'm going to the DMV to update my name and my name change and they looking at my documents and they're like, who are you? And I said confidently, I am Qiana Sanders, and I have legally changed my name. So I'm confident everywhere else. Why wouldn't I be?
Yeah.
So now let's take that, right, as a trans person, as a person who's had to go through all of these volatile situations to really become who I am as a person.
Yeah.
Guess what that unlocked for me? That unlocked my career. My career was locked until I transitioned.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yes. 100%. I never really focused on who I could be because I didn't even know who I was. So how do I know what I will become? So when I got...
And many of us are in that.
Yeah. Yes.
We're living a life or a script based on someone else's idea.
Yeah.
And the work to do is
or someone else's acceptance.
Or someone else's acceptance.
Yep.
And the work to do is to unravel that. And part of the reason why the trans community is being put on blast by all these people is because you model and show what it is to be in that, fully actualized in that, and that scares the shit out of people.
It's scary, yeah. I mean, okay, I get it. Some people don't want to live out loud. Some people want to, I guess assimilate or make themselves smaller or, that sort of thing for protection, and that's okay.
Yeah, for protection.
Right?
Yeah.
And in the... trans community self, like that.
Yes.
I was self for a long time, meaning, right, I feel that I have now passed as the particular gender as I identify, as I am, and I don't want to reference my transness. I don't want to reference that, right? So that's stealth, right? But that does take a level of erasure from yourself, from your journey, everything. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I've done that for protection, right? Depending on my environment. So I don't blink an eye at if someone has to do that. That might just be their journey. But, what I've really found is that the more I am just myself, the more that I unlock who I am and just live out loud, I allow the conversations to come in. I engage the heart. I feel I perform better as a human because I am living my truth. I can be a better citizen. I can be a better daughter. I can be a better sister. I can be a better friend. I can be a better constituent of our society just because of who I am. So amen. That is really the success on the other side of service.
Amen.
Because I can fully serve.
Yeah.
Serve.
Yes.
But I'm able to just
and
be...
I think that's what you and all of you who choose to go down this route to align yourself with who you really are, model for society. You're the bravest among us because you have chosen to put your stake down and say, this is who I am. And it is so easy for us to point and say, no, it's not. That's not true. You are this or you are that. And it's like, wait a second. Like, this is not a decision of eating ice cream or what color clothes to wear. Like, these are big decisions. Someone doesn't, I say this all the time. You don't just wake up one day and decide I want to transition. I mean, this is a very methodical, thoughtful, intentional, strategic move for people. This is not a willy-nilly thing. And the fact that someone's even going there means, wow, it must really be serious enough such that this person is choosing to take this route. How courageous and honorable and strong of you. Yeah. We should honor that.
Yes. Like, I think that's the thing. Like, a lot of leaders just look at the work and then they are charged up by the things that they do, and then the KPIs and the product release and all of that. And then they lose
yourself in the process.
You just completed it. Yeah. They lose themselves in the process because your team is waiting for that.
But that's so hard to not do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, yeah. Well, I think that to some degree, I think that sometimes, what happens is that we have seen that we feel we have to erase a part of ourselves to get to a certain level. We just want to focus. We have to have, sometimes, I know for me, I came from a scarcity mindset.
Me too.
Right?
Too.
Just trying to grab all the different pieces and I didn't have the connections. And
I got to hustle to take what I can get. I got to make it.
I had something to prove. I always had something to prove. And so, of course, I left the little girl from East Side of Detroit behind. And I started to have this persona and all of that. And, sometimes that wasn't, honestly, most times that wasn't fulfilling. I still have to wake up on Saturday morning and see, who am I really? When I really looked at who is Qiana Sanders, right? Because that's the thing. Like, sometimes we want to ditto. We want to be a copy of what we see out there in the market. Like, no, I'm not a ditto. I'm not a copy, know?
No.
So you have the things on paper that describe me, from Detroit, Michigan, violinist, classically trained violinist. And I thought I was going to be that for so long. And then I hard pivoted into tech and then data science and all these things. But I think all of those things show what I've done, but it doesn't necessarily say, who am I? How do I show up every day? Like, I don't go to the coffee shop and just say, hello, my name is Qiana. I'm a data science leader. Like, no, right? I'm of service even in that moment, right? Okay, do you have you don't have, okay, I can pivot and do something else. Like, does that help your job? Does that make it easier? I'm naturally just that. I'm just naturally of service. Yeah. No matter what room I'm in. So it's even broader than just leadership.
Yeah.
Even when I'm at the coffee shop.
I feel like service, and I feel like service is such a special word too, because it's so, that is leadership. It is being in the service of other people.
Yes.
And it is reciprocal. What you put out comes back, and you're feeding this ecosystem. And service just has a nice way of articulating that. I feel that too.
Yeah, that's right. I remember my first job out of school. I was working at a bank, and I was naturally of service to the people, right? I was helping them open up bank accounts. I was talking about their financial well-being, and it was the most vulnerable, right?
Wow.
Now that I'm out of that arena, right? But I'm still in service to people. I'm in service to my team. I'm in service to those around me. Yeah. Right. And I feel that sometimes, sometimes in your career, you might become a individual contributor, a high IC, right? And you could still be a leader even in that. Because guess what? You lead leaders. You lead 100%. Right?
Yeah.
To be a leader doesn't mean that you have to have a huge global team.
100%.
You don't have to have
Everybody's a leader in their own way.
Yes.
However that manifests for you.
Correct.
You are the leader of your own life.
And you know how I will be best of service to people, especially in my team?
Yeah.
That I see the next you before you see it.
Like, you see something in people that they don't yet see in themselves.
That's right. That's right. And I it is my job to help unlock that next potential within you.
Who did that for you? I'm curious.
Oh, that's a great question. It was a very senior leader at a company, and literally he said, I love the way you think. And you could be anything. You can be even more than just a data scientist.
Wow.
What unlocked for me was, okay, the title's there. a very senior person is saying that about me. But then I start to realize, why did I have to wait for someone to say that? It kind of talks about like what we look for in our own society.
Yeah, huge.
We wake up on our Instagrams and our LinkedIns and we want to get all the likes.
Yeah.
But do you wake up and like yourself first? Is your baseline on joy, or is your baseline based on someone else's baseline?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But sometimes you do have to have those moments that matter, as I call it.
Yeah.
And that is what unlocked it. I said, whoa, okay. I think I've found a good landing spot for myself. Yeah.
When I think of servant leadership, another piece that comes up is humility. Inherent in servant leadership is the humility to know I don't have to know all the answers. I don't have to be perfect.
Yes.
But I need to be a part of the ecosystem.
Yes.
Right? And be humble enough to say, I don't know, let's find out. Or to not try and position yourself and prove yourself as all knowing, because your team can smell that shit.
Yeah.
Like it's obvious, I feel.
There's power in vulnerability.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that again. There is power in vulnerability, right? Again, scarcity mindset means I have to have all the answers. Scarcity mindset means I am the bottleneck. I am the one to approve. I don't delegate.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of power there, right?
Yeah, and you do that because you want to control the outcomes. You think you could do it better than someone else, or you need eyes on it, so you're in every meeting, you're touching every doc, but that creates a bottleneck, and that's not sustainable.
Never. That's never sustainable.
That is not sustainable.
No, and you're not going to impact many hearts that way either.
No.
Because it's like, okay, I have an idea, but now I have to get it approved by my leader. Which, yes, in the natural order of systems, sometimes that has to happen, but how do we really shift to the KPHI?
Yeah, let's go there for a second, because you say KPHI, but you've also said a leader's job is to engage the heart. Yeah. And I just love that framing, engaging the heart. It's so active. You feel something inside you when you say a leader's job is to engage the heart.
Yes.
So I'm curious, like, what does that mean for you, and what does that actually look like?
Being a leader is a verb. You can't just have that as a noun and it's just like, oh yeah, I'm the leader, I'm the head honcho here, right? No, you got to get in there. Like you got to have those one-on-ones. We've lost the art of one-on-ones.
Oh, I know.
I don't care how big my team is.
Tell me about
like,
that. Yeah, you think we have. You think we have.
We have, yeah. Like I want to know who's reporting to me. I want to know what their aspirations are. If I'm able to hit the mark and open up that pipeline of, motivation and success for them, then great. But, let me at least understand what your North Star is. Sometimes it's family. Yeah. Sometimes it is to be seen. Sometimes it is about compensation. But I think it's better to know so you have a good pulse. Yeah. Right? I mean, I'm not really a leader that gets kind of caught off guard too many times with my team. I have a pretty good idea, and that's because it's a verb. I get the opportunity to be on the stage and create stages for other people. That's what I get to do. That is so exciting. That is the opportunity I get to do. I have had so much performance equity. I've had so much relationship currency. I've had all these great things deposited into my aspiration bank account that I can now use for someone else. Hey, I know this person. Get connected on that project. Get connected in this way. And let me help you change. Like that is what I think my natural superpower is, an amplifier. I amplify myself, but I love amplifying other people. I am of service.
Rooting for the rise of other people.
I'm rooting for the rise.
Lifting everybody.
Yes.
Lifting raise the tide before any one ship.
Yes, and there's always going to be opposition. There's a lot going on in the world and all of that. But once again, am I going to wake up and base my life in that? Or can I base my life in joy and create that joy for other people and let that permeate? I'd rather be on that side of history. What I'm asking for is to go higher. You can't just sit there and just have the 9 to 5 and then you're done, but you never meet with your team. This is not a 9 to 5 for me. Like that is the extra work that I put in. Now that's me, right? But then also what comes of that is a higher performing team.
Correct.
It comes to the delegation. It comes, I trust instead of the fear.
And I think it's interesting too, because you can't see it, but you can feel it.
Yes.
And it is the small things like, okay, we have a disagreement. Let's unblock this by going to lunch, or let's get into a room and whiteboard this out, or let's be willing to connect to this person outside of the office or something. And the amount of times I've had conversations with people who are afraid to do just that.
Yes.
And it's like, that's where the trust is cultivated, is going into that space, being able to stay in the hard conversation.
Yes, and be an active listener, be an active participant.
Yeah. So what does that look like? That's good.
I have someone on my team, right, who has exciting clients, doing great work, but always having to be there, right? 5 days a week. Got the huge RTO requirements. So at least once per month, KPHI, right? What I shared was you do a lot on paper to make sure that your resume and you got the next opportunity, sharp person, right?
Yeah.
But what are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing here at least once a month, right?
Yeah, I feel that.
And if I need to be the accountability partner to do that, then I'll do that, right? So what that means is that let's step away from our laptops. Let's step away from the environment, and I'll just take you out to lunch once per month, just so you could feel and see the difference. That is active listening, right? So I hear what you're saying, but you're not really asking, hey, you're my mentor, you're my leader. Can we like do something once per month or every couple months or something? Like that is what I start to hear. Again, we'll talk about this later, but I come from an orchestral mindset. I know when the tuba is a little off or if the oboe is a little off, right? I can sense it, right?
Yeah. So
when I'm looking at someone, I'm always saying, I hear what you're saying, but what are you actually not saying?
Ooh.
And then how do I respond to that?
That's big. Wait, I hear what you're saying, but what are you actually not saying, and how do I respond to that?
Yeah, right. Because half the time, right, I get it. Like I'm in this leadership position. That's great. So your representative is probably speaking to me, but your heart probably isn't.
What do you say to them? What do you say to people that on your team who are trying to be more in touch with their heart?
Yeah, again, it goes back to vulnerability.
Yeah.
You got to offer yourself.
Yeah.
You gotta stand firm in that. You know, we all feel like we have some version of a representative. I get that, to be protected or to have your armor on and all of that. So yeah, and I do that to a certain degree. But I also feel that sharing your story, that matters. If you have 8 meetings every single day and it's never about you, you're just gonna keep pouring from a place of resentment. You're going to pour from a place of sadness. Put an opportunity on your calendar just to share your story. It could come up in a mentorship capacity.
Yeah,
right?
totally.
But yes, mentor-mentees, that is reciprocal.
Yeah.
But they want to know just as much as what to do in their career as to who you are.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
So yes, again, I get it. As a leader, you have a lot of deadlines. You got the KPIs. You have the things that you have to get after. That is important. But let's not lose the person that also has to do that. Right? So naturally, I already have to be vulnerable, because when I even introduce myself to my team, I say, hi, my name is Qiana Sanders, a proud trans Black woman from the east side of Detroit. And by way of music, I found my way in data science. Hi, how are you? So to me, it rolls off the tongue. I'm excited. It's all of me. And I'm coming from a place of joy. Because you know who you are. And imagine how many other conversations that opens up, how many other hearts and minds are changed from that conversation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and how many of us struggle to get to that point where who you are is the most fundamental, important question, but it's so easily overlooked.
It's overlooked.
Yeah, it's overlooked.
Well, I've heard so many people say, I'm not that special.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just a guy and I'm just a this, or I'm just a girl and I'm a...
Yeah.
Okay, well, if that's your energy you share with me, then that's the energy I think of. So it's your words. You got to be excited about you.
Yeah.
You can say, I am from this part of the world, and I'm excited, and I'm this, and I'm that, because I am all that.
Yeah.
So the secret power is just yourself.
Yeah.
I want to see more of that.
Yeah.
I don't want to see I'm not that special, or okay. And then that's what happens. You enter into the room and you're so confident and you're so this, and they're like, oh, I could never be that. I want you to join the party.
Well, it's interesting because it's not only I could never be that, but then it becomes I don't like that.
Yeah.
Something about that is too much. And we need to fix that. It's too much.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget once working at Google, 5th floor, Google Docs team. I was the PMM for Docs. It was all engineers and product managers, and then me, the marketer. Yeah. And I just remember one of the directors of product pulling me over one morning and saying like, hey, I think you should tone it down a little bit. Like, you're a little too funny. You're a little too loud. You're a little too much. Just tone it down a little bit. And I let it go. Like I actually I didn't feel like it resonated, but it stuck with me and I remembered it. And I also remember like, that's interesting. There were people every now and then who would snipe at it and try it. And then I was always like, well, how do I know whether it's true or not? And whether do I take it on or not take it on?
Yeah.
But along the journey, there were always people who were always trying to a little bit. And, you know, that's interesting. I'm sure you've dealt with that too.
Yeah. Hurt people.
Hurt people.
Happy people make other people happy. And how I see that is, okay, you say that, let me have a separate one-on-one with you. Let's really talk about that. So if I am too much, tell me how would you like me to show up? Can you show up for me in this way? Because maybe I am trying to bring up the morale and I feel, right? Because feelings are also valid in the workplace.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's just like, okay, great. Let's go higher. Yeah. Let's be a little bit more specific about that because what I am doing is X.
Yeah. What does that actually look like? What does that mean?
Correct. And maybe we're just misreading and that's okay. Right? Also, with several different cultural backgrounds and all of that, things can get misread, right?
Yes, things can. And they do.
Let's call people in instead of calling them out.
Let's stay with that for a second. Calling people in instead of calling them out. I feel like...
You felt called out in that moment.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And I feel like our culture is big on the canceling, the calling you out. See, you said my pronoun wrong, or you did this wrong, or da-da-da-da-da. See, I got you, I know you. And it's like, okay. How is that serving the energy of the room, of the team, of the dynamic? You know? But it's easy to do.
Yes, it is. We have to make space for vulnerability.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe the person didn't mean to say it like that. Maybe they heard from someone else. Sometimes messages we receive were not of their own.
Yeah.
That's a tricky part in leadership.
Yeah.
Oh, I heard such and such did such and such. You need to go talk to such and such. And maybe that's a high performer on my team. Yeah. So I'm just being a little ditto and just saying, okay, well, such and such said such and such. So you need to stop that. But let's go higher, y'all. Right? You cannot be run around by existential pressures and threats, and everything isn't a threat. You can just say, okay, I understand. Now make your own judgment and let's have a conversation about it. Call in, not call out. Did you really think about how that would make the employee feel?
Yeah.
What was the result? What was the outcome? You need to be an outcomes-based leader. What was the outcome in that call out, right? Now yourself, as you take it, you could pivot how you like, but like that's the next thing. Okay, if I decide to call out, what's my true outcome with this?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's connected to systems thinking, like your consideration for the others, understanding that there's dependencies going on.
Yes.
That it's not just an individual siloed thing in isolation, that there's a whole orchestra of things going on.
Yes.
As a leader, your job is to be aware of that.
Yes.
And understand your relationship to that.
That's right.
And that's something that I'm interested about too with you, because as a classically trained violinist, I'm thinking about the orchestra, and there's so many parallels to orchestra and leadership. Like, not everybody's playing the same. Some people are quiet while some people are playing. You can maybe hear when something's off and figure out, how do you address it? What do you do? So how does your orchestra experience shape how you show up as a leader? I'm curious.
Because I want to know the score. I naturally want to be like the conductor. Right? So even before the trumpets come in, or the oboe has to tune the orchestra, or the woodwinds come in with their sections, but the percussion have a ton of rest, that does show up in technology, especially in data, right? I work in data. So data is to me, it is an orchestra concert, right? There's so many disaggregated data silos in organizations. You got the finance team, and we got this data, and then we have a sales team, and I have this data, and I own this application, and then you have we have multiple data lakes. We got mesh architecture. Now we're trying to do AI on top of all of it. It is a lot, right? Here's the truth, though. The truth is that while I'm an orchestrally trained violinist, and I want to know the score, sometimes I do have to meet my clients at jazz.
Meet them where they're at.
Got to freestyle. right?
You
And
gotta
I have to just see where they're at. Yeah, sure, they want the orchestra, you
Yeah,
know?
but they're not ready for that yet. They're
But
not at that place.
They're not quite Mozart yet.
They're
You
not
know
there.
what I mean? They're
Yeah.
not quite Beethoven, and that is also okay. Yes. So I've had to really learn, right, that the world just doesn't operate like the Pythagorean theorem. Y does not equal mx plus b. We want our careers to be like that. We want our relationships to work like that.
Yes.
We want our families to work like that.
Yes.
That's just not how it works.
No.
So because I do want the equations and I want the specific answer, there is beauty in multiple answers. There's beauty in nuance, right? So what I have learned from my orchestral training is that I'm really good at studying. I'm really good at persevering. I didn't just learn Mendelssohn violin concerto day one. I had to start with Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Yeah.
Maybe she didn't have a lamb. Maybe she had a dog that was probably cute. You know, maybe some days it was a pig. But my Mary did not have a lamb day one. Right? So I had to really grow to that. So I stuck with it.
Yeah.
But I didn't learn how to code day one either.
Yeah.
I had to stick with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Sticking with it.
Sticking with it. And so what I bring all of that to my leadership style is sticking with it. I persevere through the hard times.
Another layer on top of that I think about is Newton's third law of motion. For what you put out, you get back. And you have to be really clear about what it is that you're putting out because it's coming back to you. And you may not know when it's coming back, but that fucking thing is coming back to you.
It's coming back.
So get really clear on what it is that you are putting out. What are you saying? Your vibration, how you show up in the room.
Yes.
Are you contributing or are you trying to cut something? Are you putting up roadblocks? Or are you trying to identify solutions? Like, what is the energy that you bringing into the space? And that comes back to you. What do you do when you're dealing with people who are not engaged in their heart? They don't even give a shit about a KPHI and they are so head oriented, but you got to work with them. Are you the kind of person who's like, cross the street, let me just put you in low gear and avoid? Or it's like, I have to work with this person, or it depends?
That's a good question. Honestly, I haven't come across that yet. I would say that sometimes it takes a bit more conversations, some more trust building.
Trust building.
But someone has their own mission. They all have their own mission, and it's all different. It's all different. I would also say that, like, if someone on the team is struggling, and recognize them a few times and make sure it's authentic. See them.
Yeah, a lot of times people just need a little bit of water and sun, some fertilizer from I see you. There's potential here.
And some real feedback.
And let's go there for a second, because that's probably the hardest thing for leaders to do, is to give real, honest feedback. You don't have to be an asshole when you're giving feedback. You can actually do it in a way that's clear and kind and loving.
Yeah, and with a positive outcome in mind. Start with the North Star. I want you to be X on my team. I want to see this. I want you to be at this position, at this level, da-da-da-da. Now that I buttered you up to tell you about what the North Star is, here is the feedback I now have for you.
Yeah,
here's what really happened.
Yeah.
Right? Here's the learning. So what I saw was X. What was needed was X. And now we can work together. What do you think about that? And feedback? What's your feedback on the feedback? What do you think? Right? So
Beautiful.
For me, it's easy. Like I always start with the outcome.
Beautiful.
Again, servant leadership. I start with the outcome in mind.
Yeah, the outcome, the vision. Yeah, you start with the end and work your way back.
Yes. Yeah. And then just if I can start to see the shoe falling. Okay, hey, I'm kind of sensing that maybe this isn't quite a fit.
Yeah.
Share with me. Am I off in that feeling?
Yeah.
Call it out.
What's up?
I will call that out. I'll call out my own feelings on something. Right? And I'll say, just let me know if I'm missing something. But see, sometimes as leaders, we don't want to call it out.
One of the things is people don't know how to stay regulated in the conversation. How have you learned to do that? Stay in it, as opposed to, someone's saying something about me. They're judging who I am. I have to eject, or I have to fight this.
Yeah. Well, first of all, hold up. Let's take a step back too. Carla Harris says this. Love her. She's amazing. She always says, you need to know people's feedback about anyone that touches your seat. I'll say that again. You need to know the feedback of everyone who could potentially impact the seat you sit in. Yes, you have to know that.
Yeah.
Are you just going to wait until performance achievement? Are you just going to wait until you're satisfactory or below average or whatever?
Yeah.
So I get ahead of that.
Yeah, you have to have a pulse on that.
My window is big.
Yeah.
I fell forward. I want to fail faster. Right? So if I'm doing good, I want to know and why.
That's
and
a takeaway for people.
Yes.
Failing forward, paying attention, intentionally seeking the feedback.
You got to press the gas on that.
Hell yeah.
Press the gas on that.
That's right.
Success comes from the failures.
That's right.
So would
That's
would you want to wait once per year that you failed the whole year? Or would
Yes.
you rather know, hey, okay, that proof of concept wasn't quite great, but we can know this. And guess who's going to have to set up that meeting? You. Got to be fierce about feedback. I have amazing mentors myself. I have many mentors, and I ask, this is burning. I don't know. Or actually, this is going great. What am I looking out? What should I be watching out for? Or how should I do it differently? Actually, this is going really great. How should I do this differently?
And I think the marker of how this ends up at the end is how you handle it. Are you graceful about it? Do you own it? Do you take responsibility for it? Do you demonstrate a commitment to know better, to do better, to learn, to do it differently next time, as opposed to, I fucked up. Like, damn, it's another thing against me. And then that takes you out a little bit more and a little bit more. And then it just like you sort of deplete. As opposed to, wait a minute, okay, let me take a beat. Let me understand what happened. All right, I'm getting back into the arena.
Yes.
And people respect you more for that mentality, I believe. When you know, I feel.
Well, we get so wrapped in perfection.
Yeah.
You know, we want the release to go well. We want the go-to-market strategy to be perfect and everyone to sign off and everyone to love it and everyone to love the product and it has all the clicky-doos and it has all the user experience, right? Like all the Jira tickets were addressed, right? So we want that, but guess what? A lot of leaders want to also be a part of the process, right? And so again, it's calling them in. Right? So I know that we've been talking about that from like an identity perspective and calling people in, you know, especially like in our communities, but we can even do that as leaders. Again, you don't need a huge team to be a leader. You are a leader where you are. Even if you're an individual contributor, you are a leader.
When you accept the fact that you are a leader, no matter who you are, where you are in the world, what comes of that is immediately a sense of agency.
Oh,
that I have the ability to take control of this situation.
Yes.
I can do something about it. I can make a decision. I can take a choice here.
Yes.
And it may not work out, but at least I've made the decision and I've taken the choice and I will learn for it. I will open a door. I will grab something or it'll be a dead end and I'll go to a different door. And it's like, that's part of the process. And I feel like what we have a lot is a lot of constriction. Everybody's afraid to make a decision. We're stuck in analysis paralysis, or we are deferring. Let's circle back to everything. Let's defer.
Yes.
And it feels a little bumper boats sometimes.
Yes.
Nobody's making decisions.
And for anyone listening, if they feel like, okay, I'm in my job and I hear this and it's like, well, I don't have a lot of agency and I'm not giving anything and I don't like it and this and that and whatnot. Okay, valid. That's baseline. Now let's go higher. You aren't given agency because maybe you haven't used your voice. Maybe you haven't advocated for yourself. Have you let your project manager know? Have you let your boss know? And now if you have a sense of agency, what's the outcome? All leaders are outcome-based. We're all trying to move an outcome, move a target, move a needle. So talking outcomes, what's the outcome? Like, okay, so you're complaining about it.
Yeah.
And complaints are valid.
Yeah.
That's baseline.
Yeah.
That's human. That's me understanding. You got me engaged as an active listener. But then at the end of it, you're expecting me to fix it.
Yeah.
Okay, so, you expect me to fix it. How do we fix it together?
Yeah.
Or what more would you like to do?
Yeah.
See, that's the thing. And so then we get into the conversation together. But then, see, that's when we get into the conversation of, well, that's not my job. That's not my job.
Oh, my gosh, how many times I've heard that shit.
And,
that's not in my job description. I ain't doing that. That's not my job.
You're right, but I'm going to let y'all know, I'm a systems thinker. I'm an orchestral violinist. You cannot be the concert master unless you have been in all the sections. You don't just start as the concert master. You have to earn that spot. And they have to see that in you first before you're able to get to that point. Yes. Now, okay, we might be in a situation where you've been waiting for it and, maybe they've been saying and, I don't know. Okay, that turbulence. Get ready for turbulence. There's a lot of turbulence.
There's a lot of turbulence. And it's not going anywhere. I think we just have to work within it.
Yeah. Right? You have to persevere.
You have to persevere.
Yeah. And then guess what? You get to change your own environment. You get to do that. And guess what? That could be a positive thing.
Take me back for a moment to the one-on-ones. You said the one-on-ones have changed. So how do you think about your one-on-ones today? And somebody who's listening, who's trying to improve their one-on-ones, what's something that you can share that's valuable for them?
Well, the one thing that I find that's really helpful is that the person that is the mentee, let them schedule it. And you show up. So simple. But let them schedule it so they feel like they have the
ownership.
autonomy. Correct. They have the autonomy.
Yeah.
They have the ownership.
Yeah.
And then show up.
Yes, and show
Let's
up.
just start there. Just
show up and be present.
Yes.
Don't
Stop
be on your
looking at
phone, all your three screens while you're in the meeting.
I got to ping. I got to Outlook email.
Excuse me for a second. I got to...
Excuse me. Right. Like, no.
Be there.
Be there.
Be really there.
Be fully... Right, because you can't unlock true, authentic leadership and active listening if you're distracted.
No.
Right.
Nor can you develop trust because the leader, the person on your team is looking at you micromanaging and you've lost connection and they immediately move into this reserved mode of like, okay, I can't fully open myself up because this person isn't fully here for me right now.
Yes. And if you are in a remote setting, it'd be easier to turn your camera on. I know that there's
I agree.
a lot
I
of
think
hoopla with that.
I know.
I find it easier.
But listen, y'all shouldn't be in your underwears in a Zoom call. Okay, put your fucking camera on. I'm a big proponent of the camera. Show up and also unmic that shit, unmute that shit. Like I want to hear you moving around your desk or writing. Like you don't need to be. I feel like that can sometimes create people to step back. I don't know. I'm like, I'm active. I'm showing you I'm active in this, but my camera's on and my mic is off, so I'm ready.
Yes, I'm ready. And then even better if we could do it in person.
Yes.
I love that. Like, again, I'm in tech, I'm in data science, working on data products and all this stuff. Like, so everything is virtual.
Yeah.
Right? But like, I don't get to meet with part of my team. Like, part of my team is global. Like, I don't get to meet with them. I wish I could go there and just have these one-on-ones.
Yeah.
But I can't.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm able to do in person, I will do that too. You know, it does make a difference. Put the phones down, put the laptops down. Like, let's talk.
Yeah. Well, it was connected to that. The thing I think about with improving one-on-ones is being real, owning it and being a real human. It's very easy to go into one-on-one and open up a doc and have a bunch of bullets and just go through the bullets like a machine, as opposed to, can we surface what needs to be said that's not being said? What's really in the way? What's the real challenge here?
Yeah.
You know, what's really on your mind?
Yes.
Don't just give me a list of like, okay, this is the status checks.
Yeah.
Encourage yourself.
We have separate meetings for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You could do that async. Yeah. Actually bring that dialogue and that conversation into the room, and you'd be amazed at how that compounds over time into a trusting, powerful, high force relationship.
Yeah. It's like it's that relationship currency.
Yeah.
Right.
But you can't access that if your heart is not engaged.
Yes. 100%. It's like you have to meet a threshold.
And that's what we're dealing with.
Okay. So if you're showing up, right, you're hearing, you're listening, offer conferences. Hey, I saw this conference and I thought it was really interesting. Maybe we could go together. We'll figure out all the other things. We get so caught up in policy and what's approved and who can be where and
So true.
Just start with an idea.
Yeah.
I hear your interests, right, is in data, or you want to learn more about Salesforce or Agentforce or whatever it is.
You're looking out for them.
I'm looking out. Exactly. And it's so simple.
It's so simple.
It creates a milestone in your relationship.
Yes.
Now they have something to look forward to because I've been listening to the things you're interested in.
Yeah.
And I could say, hey, here is a virtual event. How about we attend it together?
Yeah.
And then we'll both have some takeaways.
Yeah.
That's active leadership right there.
Yeah.
That's active.
Yeah.
Instead of just like, okay, so what you want to talk about today?
Right.
What you want to talk about today?
Yeah, or how's that project going?
Yeah.
And you're waiting for something to go wrong so you can pounce on it.
Yes.
And then you put a magnifying glass over it and say, see?
Yep, it didn't
And it's
go.
like, that's not actually
I told you, Susie
helping.
and Becky, and then the politics start and all of that. You got to go higher. You got to go higher, people. You got to go higher. You as a leader,
go higher.
As a leader, you get to change the narrative. You get to change the perspective. You get to change the environment.
Yes.
Right. So I talk about this thing of watering your garden. Like, that's a huge thing that we could also talk about too. But like, your garden could be like the people and communities that you invest in. But for me, it's like my people. Right. So if I'm just leaving them out in the sun and I'm never watering them, they're going to get all dried up.
They're going to get all dried up.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
you got to
me
turn
coming
the soil.
in 15
you got to
minutes late for every call.
Yeah.
That's me never showing up. That's me rescheduling 15 times and then canceling.
Yeah.
Right? You just a dried up plant now. Because I'm not meeting my side of the commitment. Right? So if I want you to flourish.
That's a good metaphor. I love that.
Hello. You know, so how can I expect, for you to respond to me at a burning email at 5, 6 a.m. in the morning and it got to be turned around by 12? See, now me as a leader, I'm asking from a dry, shriveled plant to perform for me now when I haven't been taking care of them, right? So if you are feeling that resistance from the team, change that narrative. Change
the narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, something that's interesting to me is I can't help but hold in my heart the tension between less than 1% of the population identifies as trans, and yet there's over 600 anti-LGBTQ plus bills.
Yeah.
And it's like there's such a disproportion between those two things. And it's so obvious to me that there's trickery going on here, that this is sensationalized and that this is being used as a weapon. And when you get to peel back the humanity of the community, you realize they're beautiful, spirited human beings just like any one of us. And they're trying to live their truth just like all of us. We all want peace and safety and happiness and contentment and accomplishment and joy. Yeah. And we're all just trying to go there. And it's like, how do we break this? How do we fix this? One issue. And then the other issue is how do you handle that when you're swimming in that? How do you do that? And I say that specifically because there's people who will listen to this, trans people who will listen to this, who are in that water trying to figure that out. How do you stay grounded?
Yeah. Okay. Well, for me, we respond differently, all of us, and the way you respond, whatever is bringing you joy. I have an institution. I have a graceful presence. I come to it with grace. I come to it with learning, right? I come through it through example, through the way in which my lens is to now be perceived by others, right? Even this is a positive take on what a trans Black person could be doing in day-to-day life in tech, right? It's not the everyday, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? Opposition's always going to be out there. Before I'm trans, I'm Black, right? Like, you just perceive me as a Black woman. And my Black brothers and sisters and everyone else has also had for many, many years been opposed.
Oh my gosh.
Right? And then you think about all the other minorities.
Yeah.
And then you think of folks that, have other hidden identities or identities that they can't quite put on paper.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like our neurodivergent folks.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
like
totally.
let's talk about them. Like let's talk about, maybe English is not your first language. Maybe you are. Like there's so many beautiful cultures that we don't talk about.
Yes.
Right? And so I think the thing is that we look at these things and we look at the media and then we want to erase certain parts of ourselves. So when I wake up every day, do I wake up and I want to, be there and fighting the good fight and all of that? Yes, but I can do it differently. Yes, but I can do it differently. Love Marsha P. Johnson. All the work she's done. She was loud and proud and she did the things, right?
Yeah,
but maybe I could leverage what I do as my day-to-day with my team, with others, with those in my community.
Yeah, you're a model.
And that matters as well.
Yeah.
You may not feel that, okay, I'm going to march and do these things. And you can also march with your team. You can march with your family. You can march in your community. You can organize. You can share your story. All of that also matters. That there is a sense of power there. And you're being vulnerable. These are all levels of vulnerability at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And there's power in all of it.
Yeah.
Right? Bring yourself up. You deserve joy. Right? And the opposition will always be there. There will always be something out there.
Yeah.
Right?
You were saying that earlier, like this is not new.
No.
I've been dealing with this my whole life.
Yes. Yeah. But I've also been dealing with how can I create a sense of joy for myself and others not my whole life, because I kept feeding into well, I can't. Well, I shouldn't. Well, I'm scared. I shouldn't move to this place. I shouldn't leave my family. I shouldn't, go to these schools and be the only person. If I let fear run my life, I would not be the Qiana Sanders I am today.
Amen.
And so now I'm not playing so much into the fear, right? I'm more focused on the joy that I can create.
Yeah.
Not just for myself, but for other people.
And that's visible.
Yes.
And it's contagious.
Yes. And it's imperfect.
And it's imperfect.
Oh my gosh.
Imperfect.
But
we're all, at the end of the day, marching towards that. We all want more joy.
Yeah.
And more peace and more success and life and love.
Yes.
At the end of the day.
Yes. Yes.
That's what we all yearn for. Now that's huge because joy is the hardest emotion to experience, the research says, because it's foreboding, right? When everyone's waiting for the other shoe to drop, we're so scared to access the joy.
I might have one shoe on and one shoe off.
And that's okay.
If the shoe drop, I'll just go buy another pair of shoes.
That's right.
Right? Like, we gotta get around that. Get around that.
Yeah.
Go higher, right?
Go higher.
Get around that. If the shoe drops, buy another pair of shoes. You have access to that. Or you can get someone to share some shoes. There's power in vulnerability. If you need help, share that. Be honest about that. Be targeted in what your ask is.
Now, what about somebody who's listening to this who's in the process of transitioning? They've either made the decision, they're in the middle of it. What would you say to them if you're big on the mentor energy? You're sitting with them, they're listening to this. What do you say to them?
And look at you.
Yes.
I would say that you matter. You're enough. And there will be opposition, not only within self, but external to self. And that's okay. Growth requires hardship, right? But diamonds come from an immense amount of pressure. Maybe you're just a diamond waiting to be shared with the world. Right? Your story also matters because it might touch someone else. It will allow for other people to think differently, to do differently. And you might think that your story isn't that great. But see, that's the problem with the world. Like, we always say that. Oh, I'm not that great. Oh, I'm just a, whatever. Just a, this and that, but
we minimize ourselves.
We minimize ourselves all the time. Actually, that might be why you're delaying it, is because you're minimizing it.
Playing small.
You're just playing small. And so, I think that if you are questioning, right, obviously do the work. Do the work. I love therapy, right? So I've been seeking it.
Huge proponent of therapy.
A huge component, right?
Yeah.
So really talk it out. Really, understand where you're at and all of that. But take a beat for yourself. Right.
Yeah.
And then know that story will change hearts and minds.
Yeah. And to really clarify on the therapy piece, because I've had people come to me and say, almost satirically, like, I don't need therapy. And it's like, bitch, when you do that, you need therapy. Like, when you are so defensive about how you don't need therapy, it signals to me that you have lost that there's lack of reflection or introspection, because we can all benefit from the act that is sitting in a container with somebody else and examining what's working and what's not in your life, examining what you're feeling, examining what your truth is, really being there with that and doing that work. I think is so profound for all of us. Now, we don't have to do it forever, but I believe, given how hard life is, we all have to create the conditions to do that work.
Yes.
That's where it comes out of knowing who you are.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that's
huge. And you
huge.
get to do it differently.
Now, what do you say to the people who are like, oh, this is a mental health issue? They should be in therapy and they should get fixed because it's a mental health issue.
Well, what's fixed? Fixed on whose definition?
Yeah.
What's fixed? What is that?
Yeah.
Like, I challenge that. What's fixed? What was wrong to begin with?
Yeah, what was wrong to begin with?
I mean, we're all human. So I can only share, like, from my experiences, growing up in a Black household, growing up in Detroit, Michigan, where everyone who had the best jobs worked in the automotive industry. So before we even talk about trans, Okay, so you're going to work the line, you're going to work at Ford Chrysler GM, or you're going to be an engineer, or maybe a doctor, but we don't know that many doctors, but that would be cool.
Yeah.
That was my version of success
Wow.
at that time, growing up in the 90s. Like that's what I heard. I never heard of data as a career.
Sure.
Never heard that before. I never saw a woman doing it either.
Yeah.
Let alone a black woman.
Yeah.
For sure, never a trans woman. So I had to create the life and success that I wanted for myself first. I had to create that. So when you say fix, I don't know how to unfix this, you know? And if I did, wow, what a disservice to society, right?
And even inherent in that, when someone is using the fix, inherent in that is you're making a state as to whether something's binary, good or bad, right or wrong, broken or working.
Yes.
And it's like the whole point of this is that life is not binary.
No, there's a lot of gray space.
There's a lot of nuance. There's a lot of gray space. Life is not binary.
Yes, it's not. It's a lot more fluid than what we'd like it to be.
Yes.
Right?
And that's uncomfortable.
And I'm starting to see it even more and more at work. Right? I feel like typically in jobs, it's like, okay, you do this job, you do this responsibility, you do this. Now, what is it? Collaboration. I want you to know what this team is doing and how that impacts this team and what's going to be the next on the roadmap. And then on this roadmap, then we have to be able to do that. That is so interconnected. That's such an integrated work environment. We are like so integrated in our work environments now. You can't just clock in, clock out, especially at the leadership level. Like you have to know what's going around.
Yeah.
You have to know what's impacting your teams, right?
Yeah.
So just kind of putting that into the conversation, right? There's a lot more gray space in just jobs today. So imagine how much gray space is happening with an identity, how much gray space is happening in family dynamics, all of it.
Yeah.
And then I would also say, okay, fix, got it. What's your version of success? What does success look like for you? Right? A lot of people are like, oh, a family, oh, a stable job, oh, you know, like, okay, that's great. Maybe my version of success looks different.
Yeah.
And that's allowing nuance.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah. One of the things that I think about a lot is every time I find myself casting judgment, I am encouraged to ask myself, there's a mirror here. And what is that showing in you? Where is the unlovable, the parts of you that are unloved?
Ooh.
What's uncomfortable with you? And I have seen that a lot of times with the trans community. I'm like, something makes me on edge. Like, you're dressing too nice. You're da-da-da. I'm like, oh, baby, I understand. Because you want that. You want the earrings. You wanted this. You wanted that. But there's a part of you resisting that because you're worried about what someone else is going to say to you or comment to you when you're walking down the street or when you're in the meeting. And you don't want to feel that. So you resist that for yourself. And by doing that, when you see other people who are doing it, you lash out and you offload that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
We need a more empathetic world.
Yeah.
That's the difference between sympathy and empathy. You're actually trying to understand what it means to be in their shoes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So when you listen, sure, you can listen for that sympathy. Like, oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah.
Empathy is, I understand, and I think it's similar because this is my experience. Now you open up the world of vulnerability right there. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then you become a little less offensive.
That's right.
Right? The attack comes down.
Yeah.
Right? If you see things in a bit more positive of a way of the way in which someone's coming to you, have a little empathy of why that is happening.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I think that is often what gets missed.
100%.
So that mirror would help if you have more empathy. Because then, right, you could start to figure out, okay, wow, they're sharing this experience, but they're not sharing it with me just to be on their own soapbox. But I could also share with them what's going on with me and how I can understand how that feels.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
People care about empathy. They do.
Yeah. And I would recommend anyone who's indifferent on this issue, get to know a trans person.
Yes.
Spend time with somebody, listen to them. And maybe you don't fully understand. And maybe it is complicated for you, the bathroom thing or the sports thing or the this, that, whatever stage or whatever. that's okay. Like, can you listen to a person and believe them? You don't have to necessarily understand all of it.
Yeah.
Can you believe them? Can you see that this is another human being sitting with you who feels this way, and honor that?
Yeah.
And accept that for what it is and support that.
Yes.
You know, that to me has been a big takeaway. And I feel like a lot of people don't even know a trans person, and yet they promote or they vote for something, or they get behind a bandwagon of a message. And it's like, bitch, you don't even know who this person is. You don't even know what these people are about.
Yeah.
And if you did take the time to be with them and listen, you would realize the time and the pressure and the energy that goes into saying, I want to be who I truly am.
Yeah.
In a world that's telling me no.
Yes. And it's just out loud for me, but maybe it wasn't out loud for you. Maybe your world also has denied you. Maybe you're listening, you're saying, okay, well, they're getting all the attention anyway, but I've been dealing with this for all these years. And that's valid too. That's why I say that before I was trans, I was Black. I recognize that. I carry that with me. So yeah, when we talk about these types of things, I always think about, okay, sure, yes, there's these targeted things that's happening, but also I also make space for others that may feel that they've lost out and all of this. And that the reason why I bring that up is because there's a lot of resentment that happens.
For someone listening who may be judging or uncomfortable or unsure about trans people, they're uncomfortable with it. What do you wish they understood before they made quick judgments?
At the end of the day, we're all people.
Yeah, we're all people.
We're all people, right? And to be honest, a lot of us didn't want to even make it political. We didn't.
No.
But it's happening.
Yeah.
Right? But with that being said, right, give a bit more grace. Give it some time. But just sit with yourself and feel like, when was a time that someone misunderstood me?
Oh, that's big.
And I just kind of brushed it off like, okay, it was whatever. But it really meant something to you. That's where you can really start to connect with the trans community.
That's right.
Because your story does matter. Maybe it's just not being talked about. Maybe it's just not being televised.
Yeah.
But that does matter.
Yeah, it does.
And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of... We again, because we are kicked out, because we don't have a lot of the family support, because we don't have all these things... It makes it even harder to just live, to just
Oh
be,
my gosh. Oh my God, totally.
Right? So if you do meet some of us, we are charged.
Yeah.
Because we've had to fight. There's a lot of fight there. Right?
And I'm glad you went there, because that's where a lot of my frustration was when I was leading the Gayglers at Google, and there were a few trans people in the community, and they were fighters. They were fierce fighters. And I didn't take the time to seek to understand them. I just thought they were being sassy queens who were nasty and annoying. And I was like, can you just shut up and let us have a happy hour, and just let us do our thing?
Yeah.
And how naive of me. I recognize now that, what do you think it would be like when you live, what you are physically does not map who you are internally, when you're in the process of transitioning, and maybe you don't, what's the word, you pass, or you're in this transitionary period, or you're figuring it out, or you know, it's like, it was so easy for me to judge or cast judgment, or why are you like that? Why are you so angry? Go fix yourself. Yeah. And I was like, oh, bitch, that was easy for you to say. How easy for you to say? Do you know what it's like to live in their shoes every day when they're always having to figure out who they think they are inside and who the world is telling them to be? Like, of course they're frustrated. Of course they're charged up. Of course they're angry. Of course they're behaving where they are. You would too, bitch.
Yeah.
Take a breath. Realize that. You would too.
Yeah.
Humble yourself. Have some empathy.
Imagine waking up and you're like, how do I just present today? So, right, going there, as a cis person, you don't have to think about that.
No.
You just put on your clothes and you go. And you're like, okay, best you probably, I look okay. All right, I'm going. As a trans person, especially in the beginning of my transition, I had to make really hard choices. I didn't even know what name I wanted to call myself, but I knew that the way I was dressing just didn't align. And then the way I looked, and I was just like, oh. So before I could talk about what I did over the weekend and hearing about someone's, happy life or the weekend and what they're going to do and talk about goals and whatever. I don't even know what my own goal is today. I just was trying to look comfortable in myself in a dress. Like there was so much turmoil that just happens right there. Like you're already 5 steps ahead of me and I'm 10 steps behind, but I have to show up to work at this 8 a.m. meeting. And I don't even know if what I have on is really all the way together. It took years, right? So I come forward today talking about doing all the work and doing all the things and all of it. But that took so many years of embarrassments, of being misgendered, being called the wrong name. And this is in a corporate setting.
Yeah.
So am I going to be mad about it? No, I'm going to have grace. That's the way I showed up. And I just, I gained a followership because of the grace that I've extended. Now I get it, that's harder. That's easier said than done. But that was my life.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm curious where the grace comes from. Is there a higher spiritual connection for that? How has your relationship with divine intelligence, universe, God, whatever word you use to describe it, changed over time since you've transitioned? And is that that's where you connect the grace?
Yeah. We're all imperfect in some way, right? So who am I to judge? But if I give you and extend the grace, that allows us to be connected as a human. Yeah. Right? Now, disrespect is different from grace. So if I feel disrespected, that's different. That's a different conversation.
Very different conversation.
Very different conversation, but I can offer grace.
You can offer grace.
As with me.
Yeah.
So I would even say the way that I've even connected spiritually is that, okay, as I've gone further in my transition, how do I allow to think about others? How do I be a better ally to other people?
Who are on that
to other
journey.
Cultures, right? To other, right? Like all these different things.
Yeah, I imagine because you've had to walk this path, you can look back and realize, oh, everyone else is somewhere along this path too. In whatever way that manifests. So that's where the grace comes from. Oh, honey, I see what's going on.
Yes.
This is where you are. You know what I'm saying? Like you get to see that. I can imagine. Yeah.
It could be as simple as, how do I pronounce your name?
Yeah.
Right? Like just stuff like that. Like again, I could be caught up in like, okay, you said my wrong name, but I've been mispronouncing 10 people's names. Right? Like let's really get into that, right? So like that matters. That's where the grace comes from.
Yes.
And it's not, okay, well give me an easier name for me to pronounce. No, because now you're asking for me to reduce that person. Let's not do that. Your name was given. It's beautiful. And that is your name. You own it. Yeah. It's on me now to pronounce it correctly.
Yeah. So tell me, someone's listening to this and they feel a sense of shrinking. Maybe they're judging. Maybe they're holding back. Maybe they're playing small. And they're hearing you and they see you in your light and they're like, man, what would you invite them into? What's an act of courage that you can invite them into this week to be bigger and braver and more heart-led?
I would do some heart work. You got some heart work to do. Not homework, heart work. You need to get in the mirror and you say, I am great because. I am amazing because. And you complete the sentence. Yeah. I can do because. I am the first of many because. I have been and I will be because. Yeah. You got to start with some of these I am statements. Right? You got to wake up and like yourself, as Lisa Nichols will also say, right? You got to wake up and like yourself. Stop waking up and seeking validation from other people, right? So like, if you wake up and you like yourself and you double click, right? Because when we go into our Instagrams and our LinkedIn's and all the things, we want the retweets, the reposts, the read this and the read that. Yes. Could you retweet yourself? Do you repost yourself? Right? You got to get that person in your. We all have our own self-saboteur, but you have to have that mini cheerleader inside it, especially in your heart. You got to do some heart work.
That's it.
Nobody else in the world can do that for you but you.
And that's what I love about you, is you're modeling for us what happens as a consequence of doing the heart work.
Yes.
And it is an ongoing process, but you are living proof that it compounds, baby. It
Yes.
compounds.
Compounds.
That shit compounds.
And the shoe might slip, the boot might slip. But yeah, you gotta do that hard work.
The hard work.
And I bet you, yes, you will still have some of the, naysayers
Of course.
or the things that come along with that.
Yeah.
But I promise you, you'll probably get a whole heck of a lot more of people that want to be a part of whatever you're dishing out.
That's right. And the deeper you do your work, the more grace that you will have to extend to those folks who can't see it yet and can't receive it, for they know not what they do.
Yes. Yes.
You don't have to like them. You do have to love them, as Martin Luther King Jr. says in so many speeches. You don't have to like them, but you do have to love them.
You got to love them.
You got to love them.
Guess what? If you do that and you share more of that and you share your story, let's say you're just okay, so I do all that, then what? Like, what's the outcome? Guess what? A lot of outcomes can happen. Better relationships, deeper relationships, more heart.
Yeah.
More business.
Yeah.
People like to do business with people they know.
For sure.
Like, hello, that's not a secret. People like to do business with people they know. So are you giving them a representative of you, or are you giving them the real you?
Yeah.
Right? So if you do that, there are a lot of great outcomes that come with that. You just become a more fulfilling person in society. Yeah. Right? So this is not just to our trans peers. This is not just to the LGBTQ plus community. This is really to everybody. Right? You just get to see it live full out because of all the things that I've had to do just to get to where I am and just be happy with myself.
Yeah.
But these lessons are not just unique to just me.
Yeah. That's right.
It's for everyone.
That's right.
And so, if you, again, going back to the whole point.
That's right.
If you want to unlock and be a better leader, a better person, a better sister, brother, a family member, constituent in society, like, I'm asking for people to do their heart work.
Yeah. Heart work. I love that. That's a beautiful place to end, the heart work. And that's how you become a servant leader. That's how you become an authentic leader, is to lead from this space. We have spent a lot of time up here, cerebral, intellectual. We have been disconnected from the neck down. And the real work now in a post-AGI world is to recognize that there is a coherence, there is a relationship between the head and the heart. And the more that you can get it in symmetry, the more that your light shines brighter, the more that you're able to help others, and the more that we create a little bit more kindness and bravery in this world. We need to be lowering the temperature here, and we do that by being in the heart.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really a treat to have you here. Thank you so much. And thank you for modeling what it means to lead and love and live from the heart. This is not an easy thing to do in this world. Walking out there with an open heart is hard work, and you are modeling that for us. I'm certainly trying to as well. We're all trying to.
Yeah.
Easier said than done, but thank you for that. I love it. I love you, and this is such a treat. Yay!
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. That's it for today's episode. If listening to this brings up something for you, I'd love to hear about it. Shoot me a note at hello@letsgowithjulio.com. The Let's Go with Julio show is produced and edited by Ricky Gunton, and our theme song is You Are the One by Nick Deutsch. Don't forget to subscribe and share it with a friend or two who could benefit. I see y'all. I love you. Let's go, leaders.